Well, today I want to talk about these really nice tool that I just got yesterday. And this is what happened. Yesterday, I came to work. Yesterday was Monday. Today is Tuesday, of course. And I forgot my Leatherman. I carry my Leatherman Wave Plus with me all the time. This is a tool that I really use a lot. Sometimes I do a lot of work orders with just this tool because it's got most of the basic tools that I need to fix a door or something like that. And so this is a tool that I carry with me all the time. I do apartment maintenance, and what I'm doing right now is townhouses. So I have to drive to the wherever the location's at, and I don't take my bag off when I get off the truck, but I do walk in there and see what's going on first. And this is the tool that I carry with me all the time, and I love it. And this is a tool that I need to carry with me because I do a lot of my work orders with just this. But yesterday, like I said, I forgot it at home, so I had to go buy a tool. I didn't want to buy a Leatherman because it's over $100 to buy a Leatherman, and it was just for one day. So I stopped by Ace Hardware and I got this $20 Milwaukee utility knife. I still have the the where it came, and so it's a 6-in-1. Of course, it's got it's a utility blade, so it's a 6-in-1, and what it does is it's got a wire stripper, it's got a bottle opener right here. It's got a Phillips number 2. It's got a slotted 1/4 inch, and of course it has the nut driver 1/4 inch too, which is, of course, this tool it's a really good tool. Honestly, I'm not gonna compare it to my Leatherman, but it does do things that my Leatherman cannot do, and vice versa. Of course, the Leatherman can do much or many more things just because it's a bigger knife, but there's some flaws to it too, and we'll talk about it here in a bit. So of course it's got you can reverse a bit on it. It's slotted and Phillips, and this is going to be the 1/4 inch hex driver. This is something that I did yesterday. I did a review on this knife, and something that I didn't know. I've never seen in a video. I'm sure people know about it. I didn't know that. Of course, it's got the utility blade, the fastback utility blade, and I was used to this knife. Only reason I stopped by for another knife is because I do use my screwdrivers for work orders. That's the most common thing that I'm going to use. So, and of course, this old fastback doesn't have anything like that. But the one thing that I said yesterday in my Spanish review is that I really missed not having the storage for extra blades. And of course, the drawback is it's a much thicker knife. So it's a much thicker knife, but it does have the storage. Well, I was looking at this thing earlier, and I realized that I can store at least one blade. At least I can store one blade with this knife. And I don't want to cut myself here. So it does have a little slot here on the side where you can just store at least one blade. And it is designed because that clicks right in. I don't think you guys will be able to see it, but it does have a little slot there. So even with, it's got a blade on it, then I have one stored in there. Of course, it'll still close. So I didn't know you could actually store a blade. Now, one of the good things about this knife compared to my Leatherman is that my Leatherman, I have to carry in a sheath. I can't just carry it in my pocket. They do sell a pocket clip, and I do have it, but it's really a big knife and it's really bulky. This is much thinner, much easier to carry around. Of course, the main feature that I would miss is the plier on this and the wire cutter. I wouldn't carry any of that if I carried just this. But for emergencies, for homeowners, for guys that do maintenance, handyman, I think this is an amazing knife. One of the things that happens, and it's happened to me many times, I go to let's say a courthouse or somewhere, and then there's a sign that says I can't carry a knife in there. Of course, I have to walk all the way back to the car, leave this knife, and then come back. And if it's ever the airport or something like that, then I would probably just have to throw it away. I'm not going to miss a flight over a knife. In this case, I'm pretty sure you can just get rid of the blade, and then you just have the tool. Of course, you'd have to get rid of the spare blade too. So this is an amazing, for handyman, for maintenance guys, for homeowners, for anybody that's doing any kind of work like that. This is really an amazing knife. I'm not going to compare these two. There's no comparison. There's no comparison in what they do. There's no comparison in the price. But there is a few things that this thing can do better. And one of the most important things is anytime I use this knife, and I'm left-handed, anytime I use this knife, I'm always really scared to cut something, and then this is all really slippery. There's no grip on it, and cutting my finger or cutting my hand. So this is really, it's a great knife. There's a lot you can do, but there's things you cannot do with it without cutting yourself, because even though it doesn't have a blade, it's not really a knife. And then of course this knife can go dull, and you can't just sharpen it on the fly. This thing, of course, it's a blade, so you can just change the blade. But the thing about this knife is it has a good grip. And I don't review knives, so I'm not really good at reviewing knives, but I'll review this one as much as I can. So this has a really good place for your thumb. It's like slots there, and then your finger fits in here really good, so you can do a lot of force with this knife. This is a knife that you can do a lot of force, cut a lot with this thing, just because of the way it's designed. Now, when I first bought this knife, the one thing that I did notice is that the belt clip broke right away. Now, from what I've been learning about this newer knife is that this belt clip is much stronger, much better, and it'll last longer. So I haven't had it for a long time. There's a lot of things that like this, I'm not really sure. But one thing that I do like about this knife that I don't get in this knife is this 1/4 inch driver slot. And what happens is, this is a really common, let's see, I have this Milwaukee here that I use a lot. It's got the 1/4 and the 5/16. And this is a really standard size that I'm going to use all the time. This is reversible. So I could carry this in my pocket, which I usually do. And I can fix a lot of machines or air conditioners or even refrigerators with just these tools right here. There's a lot that I can do with just these tools. Of course, I don't have a plier here in this case, but there's a lot that I could do with just these tools. So if I ever, I'm going to leave this in the truck. If I'm ever not carrying my Leatherman again, then I have some backup. There's something I can do. There's plenty I can do. Now, if somebody works in a place where they use a particular, for example, one of these Star, of course, you could carry this in your pocket and use this thing. Now, it locks when it's straight out. It locks. When it's at a 90, it stops. It stops, but it's not locked. So, I mean, you can still use it. I don't really know how strong this part of it is. I don't know if it would break or not. I'm pretty sure it's strong enough. I mean, this is not the tool that you would be using as just your tool all the time, but it's just for an emergency. So there's a lot that you can do with this knife. That's why I got it. That's why I wanted to go over it. I think this is an amazing knife for anybody or I'm not going to call it a knife. I'm going to call it a utility tool. For anybody that does this kind of work, this would be a great tool. Of course, I would always recommend the Leatherman. It does have its flaws too. I would recommend the Leatherman. There's much more you can do with the Leatherman, but it's more expensive and you have to carry a sheath with you. Or if you carry it in your pocket, this is a big, heavy knife that's just pretty bulky. And this is a much smaller, lighter, thinner knife that would be a good everyday carry utility tool. Anyways, that was my video today, and I'll see you guys in the next video.